Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Well, this is one of those days when I feel like doing something creative but I'm not quite sure what to do with myself, can't quite fix on anything, so this is perfect a time to do a bit in your make this journal or create this book or one of those kind of front bits. This is when they really come into their own. You just want something a little bit easy to do, and so I've marked 3 or 4 pages here that I think I can do all in one fell swoop. This one that I did before, drip something here, close the book, make a print. And I did this ages ago, then started doodling into it, then hated it and didn't finish it and don't even like to look at it anymore. So I've got 2 options here. I can either stick the pages together and never look at them again, or I can just have another go at putting it right. And this one says let the colours run. The next one is make drips like Jackson Pollock. And the last one I've got earmarked is squirt liquid here, try using your mouth. And last time I did this one in my other Write This journal, I blew ink around the page with the straw, and I really enjoy doing that, and I'll probably do that again. And I thought all 4 of these I can probably use the same supplies, nice and easy, nice and chilled. I get 4 pages done all in one go. I can watch a bit of Netflix or something while I do it. I haven't got to think too much. So I've got a little paint scraper thing out and some cheap acrylic gesso, white gesso. I'm just going to first of all go over the pages just to give me a base. This one might want a couple of coats. There we go, that's my first coat on this page. I need to let that dry, then give that another coat, and then give a little coat to the others as well. I just think it will help the paint to, or ink or whatever I choose, to move around a bit better, because otherwise if you put it straight on this kind of cheap book paper, it just like soaks straight in and it doesn't move at all. So I've decided to do something a little bit different, seeing as I've got this wet. This is the second coat, and this coat of gesso is quite thick and quite wet. I thought, well, I've done, you know, so many times the whole drop ink or paint and fold the page and open it out and get a ink splat, and, you know, quite bored with doing that, which is why I doodled into it last time and ended up not liking it. So what I'm going to do is just something I've not tried before, which is drop some, while the gesso's still wet, just drop some paint around just on one of the pages and then close it while this gesso is still wet. Well, I'm just curious. Now the question is, do I smear this around a bit first, or do I close the page first? Now I'm going to just close the page first and see what happens. Okay, let's go for it. It's either going to be a complete disaster or it's going to be fabulous. Oh, a bit disappointing, really. Shall I try a bit of water? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Wish you were really here so you could say, yeah, do it. Let's do it. I like the way this is going into here. Can't leave it too long because it tears up the paper when you peel it apart otherwise. So you can see it's tearing bits off here, but that's alright, I can sort that in a minute. Oh, look at that. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave it at that because I think that's quite striking. I might decide to add some words to it later. I will need to leave it for quite a long time to dry now, I think. And then I'll probably just paint a bit of white over this because that's going to annoy me otherwise. I've got a little bit left there. Not enough. Oops. That's much nicer than what I got before. Okay, but leave it alone now and let that dry. Right, so I gave this a blast with a hairdryer to speed things up a bit, and all this lovely crackage has happened. I couldn't have done that on purpose if I tried. So that's that one done as far as I'm concerned. I might write the prompt back in a bit later when that's really fully dry, but I'm ready to move on to the next page. So this one is let the colours run. So first stage again is to get a coat of gesso on here. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is exactly the same thing again. I'm going to drop these colours on here while this gesso that I've just slapped on willy-nilly with my little blade thing, so it's, you know, it's not perfect coverage, I've just left it quite rough, and I'm just going to slap these liquid acrylic colours on, magic colour liquid acrylics, and just let them run in together, let them run down the page, whatever. Just gonna go for it. Ooh, it's like a murder, doesn't it? Giving these a good shake up because they do the sediment kind of settles. Right, no. Definitely different doing this when the gesso's still wet. It's quite interesting. I wouldn't normally mix green and red together, but this particular green and red, because it's a bluey green and a pinky red, they kind of make this nice purple when they mix together, which I really like. They're doing the purple thing there, but they're not here, and I think that's because the yellow is also there. That's the trouble. Tell you what, this book is so soggy right now. This paper was not designed for this. Right, I think we can safely say that I've let the colours run. So I will write that prompt back in later. I'll leave all this to dry. I'm going to try and leave it undisturbed for a bit, because if I take it to the hairdryer it's going to blow stuff all over the place. So right, so this next one is make drips. I've put quite a thin coat of gesso on this one, and I'm just going to drop these from a height and see what happens. Oh, that's quite fun. I think I probably can't resist squirting a bit of water again. Squirt some water and watch them play, eh? Right, it's the next morning. I had to leave this to dry overnight because I decided I'd add some of these in. Now these, I've had these for years and they still, it's amazing that they still flow. They haven't all dried up. There was a point where I squeezed this one a bit too hard because it wouldn't come out, and then it went pfft, but actually I quite liked that. So they're great. They're called paper pen. I don't know why, because it just makes this big thick kind of plasticky coating, which is, I love the texture of it. And it's ended up going on so thick there where I have my little accident with it that it's kind of cracked as it's dried, and I love that. That looks a lot more Jackson Pollocky now. And then I just used the black Pintor pen to write the prompt back in. So I'm ready to move on to my last page for this little session. I just need to gesso it, and it's the one where I get to squirt liquid here, so I will be using a little drinking straw to blow some of these inks around the page. Right, so I've got quite a thin coat of gesso on there, or thicker in places, it's quite rough. I think I might just do, I might just do some scribble lines in it while it's still wet. And then I think, just like I've done with the others, I'm going to do the same thing and just, because I've done this blowing around thing quite a lot with lots of different types of paper and different paints and inks and things, but I've never tried it into wet gesso before, so let's see how much difference it makes if you do it when it's wet. This book's getting so fat now I can't make the pages behave. Okay, one colour at a time, or I don't know. Let's just drop it on and blow it around a bit and see what happens. Oh, pretties. This is where I get a bit lightheaded, not because the inks smell or anything, because they don't, but although if you do it with alcohol inks, double mummy, but because all that, you know, blowing so hard makes my head go funny. Oh, look, I love where that mixes together. I like what the scribbly lines are doing as well. A bit white over the top. I think I'm going to leave the yellow out this time, because it tends to get a bit, I think it needs to be either just the yellow with the red, or the green with the red, not both. It gets a bit muddy. Let's just put a bit of white on and see what that does. I think I'm going to leave it at that, except I do need to write the prompt back in somewhere, maybe not back down here where it was. I might not even bother. I think I'll probably remember what this one was. Okay, stopping now, make myself stop. Right, it's pretty much dry now, dry enough for me to close the book without any major disasters anyway. I love some of the effects you can get with just something as simple as blowing ink around with a straw. And I like, you know, where it's picked up the texture where it was scratched into the gesso. It's quite fun. I'll just use my artist pen to write but at least part of the prompt back in. And some of it you can still faintly read, so that's enough, I think. So that was that one. Here's Let the Colours Run. Oh, that's stuck on there a bit overnight. Funny enough, I like this texture here, which I like. It's just from dabbing the wet paint as it was running with the towel, trying to keep things under control a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, I quite like how that turned out as well. I had so much fun with this. It's nice to just play with paint like a kid sometimes. So this one was, oh, see, now I've forgotten what it was. Oh yeah, this was the dripping ink onto the page and closing the book to make a print. So again, I just did that into the wet gesso. Really, I'd never thought before of trying all these things onto the gesso while it was still wet, but actually it was like a whole different technique. Worked out really different. Now what was that I did before, didn't I? Oh, I've lost the first one now. Oh, it was this one. Yeah, I didn't think I needed to mark it because it's gone a bit fat. This page has gone well crinkly, but I like it when the pages get all crinkly. So lots of different textures there as well. I love how this just stays slightly raised and looking kind of wet look like that. So yeah, 4 different pages, really quick, really fun, really easy. Really messy, but you know, I've cleaned up fairly fairly quickly as well, so that's okay. Right, I will try and take some pictures of these to put on at the end so you can see them properly. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.